Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the very start of your sunrise bumble through the bush. We are looking at the moon, or as my cameraman hopes, it is a big ball of cheese. Full moon, everyone. A time that I absolutely love each month, and the sky is just bright and blue and gorgeous. But good morning, my name is Lauren. Owen is on camera this morning, and we do have some beautiful giraffes over there that you may not be able to see, but they were on quarantine last night. So it's the same herd, and they've actually stayed in the same space as I thought they would. Sleep out in the open, and then when you wake up, when you get light, go into the drainage lines and start feeding. What a great start. Owen will probably have to continually wipe the lens, I'm afraid, due to the cold conditions. But it's not just me out on safari, it never is. We have Cedric, the other half of my team here in Djuma. We have the beautiful Trishala down in Madikwe. We do have Liam over in Pridelands, not too far away from us. And we have the awesome Ralph in Amakala. Now, I do just want to show you another beautiful scene this morning, so I'm just going to turn the car on. Now, don't forget that we're live and interactive, so please do talk to us. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Just head over to the website, wildearth.tv, and as long as you've registered, you can submit your questions. We have the mist. You see this layer of mist just hanging in the drainage line of Galago? Isn't that stunning? And then we have the sun starting to pop out. Wow, wow, wow. So we want to hear from you. We want your comments. We want your questions. If there's anything nagging you about our animals out here, or just something that you really want to know, please do send it in. Wow, what a start. This is our open area right next to camp. Deb, you're saying, hey, it's going to be a great day. That rhymes. Awesome, I love it. I really hope so. I really do hope so. My plan is just, again, to cover some ground on our reserve, see if we can pick up on tracks or signs or sounds or anything. And then, of course, I will make it to the hyena den, as I always do. Since we have that luxury, we should absolutely check in on the Djuma clan every day. It's been very quiet in terms of leopards and lions. Obviously, Cedric had the S8 male yesterday, but other than that, it's very quiet. Both Cedric and I would like that to change. Very much hoping that it gets active. But it's cold right now, but my goodness, when that ball of gas comes up, it's going to be the most beautiful morning. So Owen and I are going to sit and enjoy this. But you guys, let's take a look at the weather across all our locations.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Sunrise Safari with WildEarth TV. We are the team in Pridelands, Eco-Training's property outside the town of Hoedspruit. My name is Liam Burrow. A very warm good morning to you. I'm the naturalist here in the driver's seat on Pridelands, the very fortunate naturalist. Man behind the lens, as ever, the legendary BK Uhuru. Apologies there, we're having to sort of defog our lens almost constantly at the moment. Lots of moisture in the air, and it all seems to be collecting on that lens glass. But what a beautiful way to start the day. We've got the sun rising over our eastern boundary, and the vista is pretty spectacular. We are on top of a ridge just to the kind of southwest, or rather southeast of our camp, checking out the formation of a bunch of valley fog in the dip. Yeah, it is really beautiful. I'm hoping we get a nice big herd of ellies or something in that valley fog. Jules, doesn't it? It is just the most spectacular way to start or finish the day. I believe things are not too shabby in New Zealand either. Our two WildEarth naturalists, Kelly Oldacre and Ben Coley, are in New Zealand at the moment. And from my chats with them, it looks pretty bloody marvellous down there as well. Very, very scenic. Not a breath of wind in Pridelands this morning and not a single cloud. So yeah, it's promising to be a really beautiful day. The lack of cloud is why it's so chilly this morning. Again, sorry that BK has to keep wiping the lens. Nothing really we can do about that. But yeah, cloud essentially acts like a blanket. It traps the heat that the Earth's crust has absorbed by the sun during the day in. But in the absence of cloud, all of that heat radiates out at night. That leads to freezing cold mornings. Yeah, it is very, very chilly when we do get underway, but sitting still, it's actually quite pleasant. BK and I are sufficiently caffeinated and jacketed. Oh, going in for another lens wipe. The struggle is real a bit this morning. But yeah, it is glorious out there. And hopefully the wildlife is feeling just as energized as we are. Thanks, Anna-Marie. Nice to have you on board as well. One of the regulars for sure. And I'm certain there will be. It's never a bad day on safari. And yeah, this will be my final drive with Pridelands for a little while. I'm off home to start studying for some commercial pilot exams, but what a phenomenal pleasure it has been to be out in the bush on safari for the last week or so. It's been phenomenal. The Pixie Pan female, that enormous Isselwini bull, some real highlights for BK and myself here at Pridelands. What a beauty. Alrighty, well, as BK and I start to figure out our game plan for the morning, with the sun rising up over our heads, let's check in with Cedric in the Sabi Sands because it's time to say good morning.
Thank you so much, Liam. I'm hoping that you have a wonderful morning drive and get to see plenty of beautiful species. But yes, well, I'm here at Djuma, a very chilly Djuma this morning, and my name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me on Rusty we've got Gert. So thanks for joining us, and I'm just coming to the western side just to take a look, see if we can get any fresh new tracks around this area. As you know, always the morning, gotta love the morning, because you get to see what's been moving around during the night. Prides of lion through this area, even wild dogs, and at least we can try and locate on those animals as quick as possible. But yes, it is a fresh morning, nice and fresh. I think not a single cloud. I thought yesterday they said it was going to be cloudy this morning, a slight chance of drizzle. Well, clearly that weatherman got that prediction completely wrong, because it's so lovely. Alright, we're just going to quickly wipe the lens. I do apologize. We just all the dew that is pretty much collecting on the lens itself because of the moisture that's in the air at the moment. So, but nice being on the rise at the moment, always beautiful. Big thing of being on top here is a little bit warmer than actually being on the lower areas. Leopard lover, thank you to you, and good morning to you. And well, I'm hoping that we can get some great leopard vibes here. and some leopard action this morning. I think we do need a leopard that's just relaxing, sitting in a tree, on a kill, on a termite mound, just resting, because it seems like every time we're finding a leopard, it's on the move and crossing over into another property. So let's take a look. Let's scan the area. I have done, oh, sorry, I saw something here. Oh no, it's just wild dogs from 2 days ago. There's some scat there, old scat. But I have done the western area of Jumo so far. Nothing coming over, so I might just slowly head back north again. Try maybe Treehouse Dam. Take it easy. Yeah, you'll see now and again Gat will be wiping the lens. As I said, it's a lot of dew around. Dewy, a lot of dewy that's in the air. Not the hippo, but little droplets. It's beautiful. Look at that sun coming through. So stunning. Go and wipe the lens again. So I'm on Philemon's cut line. Just gonna go, as I say, just gonna go up this road towards Treehouse Dam. That's just to the right of us. I'm gonna go and park there for a little bit and listen out. Well, while we do that, let's head over to Trishola in Madikwe. She wants to say good morning to everybody.
Good morning, everyone. It's not very dewy here, but it is very crisp and cold. We're having a quick view. You can see the sun's just starting to lighten everything up. There's that lovely jelly tot color there. It's me, Trishala. I've got Lloyd on camera, and we're going to do a quick hello here because we do hear some lions in the distance. And yesterday evening, they were, not terribly close, but close enough. So we're going to take a moment to listen here. But I already know where I want to head to. So let's enjoy the sounds just for a few moments, and then we'll get going again, because this is a good time for predators, and this is where we'll see a lot of movement, which is obviously going to make it a lot easier for us to find them, as opposed to them being flat. Hi Kabuki, thank you for joining us for the sunrise safari. You say that Madikwe is beautiful in the morning. It really is. The vastness just makes sunrises and sunsets spectacular. Okay, I know that was short and sweet, but I would like to get going just so we don't miss an opportunity, because remember that the lions, or the ones that we saw yesterday, were the ones, or the ones that were reported yesterday. We didn't see them. Are the ones with the cubs, and we know where they go to hang out during the day, and that's up the kopje, the little stony mound, which means that we won't be able to access them. So we want to be able to get to them before they make their way up to that mound. And of course, it's not an established sighting, so we still need to find them. So we're going to get going, and hopefully we'll see some lions this morning at Madikwe.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
This is really where I take a moment to listen, and I think that's what we're going to do. Listening is crucial out here, and sometimes we're talking too much or the engine's so loud that we actually forget. But because it's so cold today, sound is going to travel. If animals are making noises, we're going to hear them. My fingers are starting to freeze, but we're going to keep on driving and see what else we can find.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the Amakhala Game Reserve down in the Eastern Cape as part of the Sunrise Safari. The sunrise hasn't quite gotten up over the horizon just yet, but it's making for a lovely, lovely scene. We have the Dawn Chorus, it's well underway. My name is Ralph Kirsten. On the camera I've got Morgan. Guten Morgen. Yes, indeed. The plan for this morning, well, I'm just driving around the thickets. We're heading in the area of where the three amigo cheetah were last seen. But I'm just under the impression that there might be some predators awake a little bit later on in the morning because it's finally warmed up quite a lot. And I think there will be a lot of marking or remarking of territory after all the rain that we've had. So I'm looking for the likes of caracal, genet, and obviously also not just the predators, but the nocturnal animals themselves, aardvark, also looking for the likes of bush pig, and whatever else we might see in and around these thickets as it's warmed up nicely. So that's the idea for this morning. A little bit later on, maybe we'll see if we can find the 3 Amigo cheetah. And other than that, we'll listen out and see what the other guys that are out on Sunrise Safari find, and we'll follow up with whatever else will be exciting. But just lovely to sit here. A lot of the common birds already calling. It's mainly the southern boo-boo, the somber green bull. So Sir 50, absolutely. Spots would always be good. And I would like to start with something like a large spotted genet. That would be great. But building up to try and find the Amigos in the end. You can hear quite a few of the little robins calling as well. Southern chagra. It's just lovely here in the thickets when the birds start calling. And they've been very active now that it's warmed up as well. So I'm hoping all the mammals, along with the birds, will be busy, busy, busy. I think it's forecast to get quite warm today. So we've seen the back of that cold front, and I couldn't be happier. I do still have my gloves on, but as I say, the bite is gone out of the air. It's really not as cold as it's been in the last little while. Sounds like a little greenback Cameroptera. There's some Prinias calling as well. You can hear some jackals off in the distance. That was your southern chagra. Up in the Lowveld you get the black crown chagra and the brown crown chagra, but we just have the southern chagra here. Sipo. Right now, I would say that just the ones that I'm actually looking for, especially around these thickets, the smaller predators like caracal and a little genet. There's a jackal calling, obviously, that's another one. The lions could also be out, but they would be more likely down in the basin. We have a jackal there. Also, brown hyena, that would be nice. Everybody's busy and probably enjoying the warmer weather just like us. But I think first prize for me this morning would be one of the two, caracal and bush pig. Those are the two that I'm really looking forward to see. And hopefully we can get lucky. We'll just have to zigzag through these thickets and hope for the best. Otherwise, just a lovely scene. There's not a breath of wind. And I can see a little bit more insect activity as well. Excuse me. Right, so we'll see if we can find any of these predators, little ones in particular. That's what I'm looking for. And maybe a bush pig. But we're going to head up and zigzag through the bushes here and see what we can find. But for now, off you go to Cedric.
Thanks, Ralph. No luck so far, but how misty is this? How beautiful is this? It's so much mist around at the moment. It is stunning. It's quite a dramatic scene while we're driving around here in the bush, and this mist is covering all the trees, and we'll go to myself now just saying, I can imagine just finding a herd of elephants, like the silhouettes coming through the bushes, or maybe a leopard on it in a tree. That would be ideal for a morning like this, with that sunlight and the mist. How beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. Got the guinea fowl calling, got the francolins calling, birds are chirping, birds are happy. All the choruses are ringing beautiful songs through the bush this morning. And that was my stomach. I was just singing a tune. Wow. Look at that. Oh, a leopard on a termite mound, yes. Ah, come on, leopards, where are you now? Just thought, yes, it's a real spooky morning. That's what it's like I was thinking about. Just some dramatic scene with an animal now in the background would be ideal for a morning like this. All right, well, we're going to continue. We're going to just see what else we can find. I'm going to put my head up there, and I'm thinking now, I was saying to Gert now, you know, it's interesting that because there was a fire break that's now been burnt on the northern areas of Djuma, and how many prey species has been around there, like, of course, a lot of the herbivores, your warthogs, impalas, steenboks. We've been seeing so much along that fire break on the northern areas of Djuma, and as well we've got lion there, we found leopard the other day there, buffalo. So I'm going to go to the northern fire break. I'm just going to go and just do a little bit of a scan along that area, because you know, one thing encourages the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So of course you've got young grasses, then you've got impalas, and then you're going to bring it, of course, attract some leopards around the area just to see, well, there's more, quite a, how can I say, a vast amount of prey species around there. So yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to go there and go and follow up, but I can't even see this tree. There might be even something in this tree and I can't even see it with this mist. Hello?
Hi, my name is Claire. WildEarth has been part of this home for many years as it connects us to the bush and the culture that we love and miss so much. I became an explorer so that other people around the world can get to experience the African bush in this unique way as well. I am beyond excited that I was drawn to win the prize at Amakhala Game Reserve for 3 nights. It is truly a dream come true.
Sign up today and you could be the one experiencing it for yourself.
He's also got a Cape glossy starling fluttering around his feet. Again, that starling is relying on the fact that elephants do a lot of feeding on things like roots buried in the ground. And as they disturb soil, they will almost certainly kick up worms, beetle grubs that are buried below the surface, crickets, the occasional grasshopper, and that's a bounty for this bird. Check him out, getting a nice close look there. Wesley, it can certainly be a little bit challenging. You've kind of got to take a number of factors into account. A little bit like judging the age of a person just by their face. An older elephant kind of has a look to them. They get sunken temples. Their skin is extra wrinkly. There's more damage to their ears. And of course, we can go by size. But yeah, it's a bit of a difficult thing to explain. You've kind of just got to spend lots of time with elephants. Yeah, this guy is only just approaching his prime. He's not an old bull. A very, very old elephant begins to look like quite an old person. Their skin sort of sags a bit more.
Slow, still learning. Here we go. Getting another spot that the impala can't often reach, right here where the horns is just starting to push out. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's a little one. It's a juvenile. And it's also joining the party, waiting for somebody to feed it. Yes, flappy feathers. Oh, shame. I can't get rid of them. Look at them, like they're having an argument. No, you leave me alone. I said, don't go there. Shame, little one. You might have to buck and rear to be able to get those birds off. Holding on nice and tight to your fluffy fur.
But essentially, the females are always bigger in the realm of spiders. So I think this is a garden orb, but I am hoping someone can clarify it. What is she up to? Wow, look at those views, Dobby. Louise thinks it looks like a damselfly. I can't really see from where I am. And considering I came here a very dramatic arachnophobe, I'm very proud at how far I have came. So with the golden orb-web spiders, the females are said to reach 30 millimeters in length, and the males only go up to 5 millimeters in length. So there you have it. There is a drastic size difference between male and female. He looks like a tiny little dwarf in comparison to her.
Well, that was pretty epic. He even got up for us. He's definitely looking for the rest of the lionesses.
There she goes. She's hoisted. This, you, careful. Oh, she made it. She's just gonna make sure that thing doesn't slip. Oh my girl, you go. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. You're doing so well. Come on, girl, you're doing so well. There she goes again. goodness. She's holding on. Oh! Like a cat, she made it on all fours.
Yes, we are back again, and I do apologize for a little bit of a breakup there in Pridelands with Liam. A little bit of an issue with the signal side of things, but you're back with us again here at Jumo. And I'm slowly still heading north. As I said, that was my plan of action, to go further up that side to take a look around the fire break, look around the boundary area, and just to see if we are going to get lucky with some sort of animal. You never know, but sure, the sun is nice and sharp. I think we haven't seen sun for the last 2 days, and all of a sudden we see the sun, and it's sharp. My poor little eyeballs. All right, let's take a look. And we're going, I don't know why, but I'm going along the Mulwati, the drainage line that's next to us here. And you know, these low-lying areas in the morning and at night time is like the coldest places, because the cold air just sinks to these low-lying areas. And oh well, I decided to drive along the Mulwati. I guess it's my own fault when it comes to the coolness of the air, but it's alright. I'm going now to the rise, I'm going to the fire break, and I'm going to go and see what we can find up there. Diesel, not yesterday, the day before, we had marips, the young male leopard, marips. So not yesterday, the day before. Got to see him crossing. He went into Little Gari, he went into a property that was just south of Juma, and he disappeared that side. But I'd love to see Tlilamba again. I know that Lauren had Tlilamba a few days ago. Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago. So yes, I'd love to spend a little bit of time with her. That would be nice. I can get her lying down somewhere, I would be very happy. This road is not the smoothest of roads around here. Hey. All right, let's take a look around here. Okay, well, I'm coming onto a road called the Central. I want to see if there's no tracks. See. Hyena track. Just a hyena track. Alright, let's go up Hyena Road. I haven't done Hyena Road for quite some time. And there's some nice little wallows around here. Some nice trees, some nice termite mounds. I'm thinking maybe Leopardo might be just sitting on top and enjoying the early morning sun. But let's take a look. Oh. Okay, now I'm driving directly into the sun. Well done, Cedric. Well done. Yeah, a nice tent spider. Let's take a look at this beautiful spider web. It's riddled with little dewdrops, and it just enhances this spider web early in the morning. All these dewdrops, you can just see it. So this is now a tented spider. How beautiful. And you can see a very messy spider web all around, and then you've got this little flat section in the center, or sometimes you'll find that flat section right at the bottom. And it's really built to kind of, if there's a fly or moth or something that's going to be flying past and it hits that messy area, and then it'll drop into that little kind of catchment web that's situated at the bottom. Or this one, of course, you can see a little bit of a darker area in the center. But it's nice with these little dewdrops that's just formed against the web itself. Seth, yes, you get like the commune web spider. So the commune web spider, they will build the web together. So they like, that's how, hence the name commune, community. They're in a community, and then they'll grab some leaf litter and debris, and then they'll actually kind of pack it together, and they'll use it as a windbreaker, and then they'll pretty much build or spin a web together, and they make these big balls, like a real big nest. Nice big web for them, and I'll see if I can find one now. A little bit difficult. Sometimes we do see them alongside the road. Oh, look at that little one. I can't see. No, there's no spider in there. Maybe he might be somewhere tucked away. I can't wait for the golden orbs to start coming out. So they'll usually come October, November. They will start off very small, and then those golden orbs will start growing, and then around about February, March, you get these beautiful yellow-black spiders. It's got these big webs that stretches across. You can see all the little dewdrops on top of some of the grasses that we've got here. Some seed grass. Great camera work by Gert.
Thank you.
It's stunning with that sunlight from behind. Got little dewdrops. Nice for photography. Beautiful morning for photography. All right, Gert, let's mosey on after this dramatic moment that we just had now. Let's go. Oh.
We love all the support. We read all the comments, and now we want to acknowledge our biggest fans. Do you know when Ribbon was seen last? Or the names of June's cubs? Do you remember the last time we were up close and personal with an elephant? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in for a treat. WildEarth's Fan of the Month. We are looking for you. For more details, make sure to read our monthly mailer and keep an eye out on our social media pages. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
unforgettable adventure in the wild? Imagine living with the animals you see on TV while getting an inside look at how a live safari TV show operates. We're thrilled to offer this experience through our 7, 14 and 28-day EcoCam experiences. You'll live in the charming, rustic eco-training camp at Pridelands in the Greater Kruger National Park. Each day, you'll join the broadcast vehicle with a camera operator and naturalist presenter as they broadcast live onto WildEarth, the 24/7 wildlife television channel that reaches 7 million people a month. And the experience doesn't stop there. You'll also get a taste of what it's like to be a safari guide. Eco-training has been training Africa's leading safari guides for over 2 decades. You'll participate in guide training, bushwalks, bush clearing and other activities alongside students in the Eco-Training Safari Guide Group. You'll sleep out in the bush and take turns at guard duty with the guiding students. This is an adventure you'll never forget. Come and join us for the bush experience of a lifetime.
Now, how's this for an interesting spot? We're bumbling along Marula Road here, past the section called the Rocky Ridge, and I spotted this little furry creature high up on one of the boulders, just enjoying a bit of morning sun, also doing some defrosting. Now, he might appear to be some sort of guinea pig or a rodent or something like that, but this is a rock hyrax. And, bizarrely enough, this is the closest living relative in this environment to the African elephant. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it if it wasn't scientifically the truth. But X-ray a rock hyrax's feet, they have very, very similar bone structure to an elephant. And if he does give us a yawn, they actually have a tiny, tiny, tiny set of tusks in their upper jaw. It is bizarre, though. You'd be forgiven for thinking an elephant was connected closer to things like rhinos, perhaps even the dugong, something like that. But it is the rock hyrax. Yeah, I've never actually viewed these guys on Pridelands. I wasn't even aware they were around here. So it came as a bit of a surprise when I saw him under this rock fig tree. They live in large colonies, so he's almost certainly not alone. But I reckon the other ones are tucked into the rocks, perhaps even on the other side of that rock face. We'll hang around for a minute or two and see if they emerge. Yeah, Jesse, you can't believe it. It's really, really, really odd. Oh, talk about an unusual pair. Visually, they couldn't be further from one another. This rock hyrax is probably half the size of a domestic cat, and that's an adult one. Tiny thing. Doesn't have a trunk, doesn't have big flapping ears. Very, very odd. When I was a kid, my late grandmother actually hand-raised a rock hyrax. And knowing a bit about rock hyrax behavior, they always visit the bathroom in the same place. They kind of head back to a latrine, defecate and urinate there. So anyway, she trained this little baby hyrax to pee and drop its droppings in a saucer, because it was obviously the cleanest way to kind of keep the house from smelling like dusty urine, rock hyrax urine. And then from there she'd tip it into the toilet and give the saucer a wash. But unfortunately, the rock hyrax started to associate the toilet, the human toilet, with the place to go to the bathroom. I think because it could smell its urine there, And one day when she was out, this hyrax jumped up onto the rim, probably did a little wee in there, and then unfortunately fell into the toilet and lost his life. So not a very happy story. But yeah, there are communal bathroom users. We also get two species of hyrax in South Africa. You get the rock hyrax, which lives up in the boulders, and a tree hyrax, which is a very, very, very skilled tree climber, both feeding on vegetation. Anyway, as BK and I continue to enjoy this slightly unusual Pridelands sighting, let's check in with Lauren, who's back at the hyena den.
We've got a very sleepy Intima here, who's just sleeping at the entrance. And I figured that it's 25 past 7 in the morning, and it's perfect feeding time. The sun is up, it's not as bitterly cold, still cold, but Intima, you're gonna fall asleep like that. But it's a really nice time to catch Intima wakening up the cub and just to see who else is around. I remember going to all the dens on Philemon's Dip on Juma, and they always used to be active in the morning. But here it's just Intima, not even a peep from Junebug. I think Junebug is fast asleep in there, cuddled up to the other little cub. But it's very smelly here. Sorry, Intima, but this den is stinking. I like the smell of hyenas, I really do, but this is it's very stinky. I think you guys need to move dens soon. What about Juma? What about Philemon's Dip? Remember those dens, Intima? She's not interested. I know it's not the best views of Intima, but it's a really tricky signal spot for us for some really odd reason. And at least here we've got a nice view of Intima when she puts her head up, and we've also got a nice view of the entrance. So we're just going to work with it. She'll get up at some point. No sign of June. June was also not here yesterday. I have a funny feeling June is with the Nkuhumas. Isn't she just so beautiful? Kayla, I'm so glad it's your favorite part of the day, because mine too. You've just got to be a little bit patient at dens, any sort of den. If you're allowed to go to a leopard den, a lion den, a wild dog den, a cheetah den, you've just got to be a little bit patient. And we're lucky that we're able to come here. So patience is definitely required. And you know, Owen's giving you a really nice view of the den right now, and it's not that, it doesn't look that big. It's not the tallest den, it's not as tall as Philemon's Dip Den 2. But when you see the size of the entrance, wow. That's huge. And Tima can go all the way in there. It's remarkable. I finished all my coffee already, which is a little bit sad actually. I drank too much coffee. Caleb, I'd have to count. I did this the other day. Oh, goodness. It's between 10 and 15 that I currently know of. But there will be more. Absolutely, there will be more. They may use one den once and just never return to it. I have a funny feeling they're never going to return to the Aubrey's den. A nice den, but I don't think so. And sometimes they might just have a den site that they utilize time and time again. But I know of the 3 Philemon's Dip dens. Actually, there's 4 there. I know of the Zoe's den. The Nvubu den, which I love. That would be great if they came there and it's right next to camp. Aubrey's. Galago. Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam, Shabamu area, that's 10. The 2 on Little Gowrie, it's 12. Sorry, I'm just going through all the Danes in my head that I know of. Can you think of any that I've missed there, Owen? Any Danes that I've missed? Gwenston! Oh, there you go, my goodness, 13. I was just there the other day with Kalamba. So I think 13 solid ones that we know of. But I'm sure there is some missing there, Caleb. And of course, they have a network. And how they choose their den, why they choose their den, I don't think we'll ever know. We can guess. I don't think we'll ever know what makes a hyena choose that particular den. My favourite den is Philemon's Dip Den 2. I like the fact that it's easy for the vehicle to manoeuvre, but also give the animal plenty of space. The den entrance is eye level with the camera, so we can get really nice views. I like the height, I like the shape, I like where it is located on the reserve. I'm just very attached to that den. And Tima's fully sunbathing. Look at her, every inch of her in the sun. Relishing every drop of sunlight. Ah, what a beautiful morning.
Are you yearning for a private virtual WildEarth safari adventure with our naturalists and crew? We have got you covered. Sign up to be an explorer before the 15th of August and you could win a private safari experience. Make lifelong wildlife memories with either Steve,
thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning,
or Cedric. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
And so as the weather's warming up nicely like this, and it does make you want to think about going camping. That's a lovely sort of activity to do out in the bush. But here on the Amakhala Game Reserve, they've got a lodge called Woodbury Tented Camp, and it's more like glamping, because you do stay in tents, but they have wonderful meals, home-cooked meals. It's a 3-star lodge and excellent guiding activities from there. The rangers are excellent, the guides that take them out. Rob Smith, he's the head ranger there. And, well, I think he's also been at the cheetah this morning, but we'll go through there and see if we spot him. But excellent. For me, I love camping, but it's nice to stay in a kind of luxury camping lodge such as Woodbury Lodge. It's awesome. And imagine staying in a tent and hearing the lions roar. There's nothing more spectacular than that when you are under canvas. Some of my best memories of being in the bush is out camping.
Well, I was making my way towards the northern boundary. I thought just quickly make a little stop here at this dam on the northeastern corner of the property of Djuma. And as you can see, not a breath of wind. The water is like a mirror this morning, and we've got some nice hippopotamuses that's inside the water. You can see they are just all relaxing. And again, see the little nostrils. Look at the steam that's coming out of those nostrils. Isn't that beautiful? Almost like a dragon, when you've got that dragon with all that steam coming out of their nostrils. Yes, but these are the water dragons. And quite a few of them. I think yesterday we at least about maybe 8 or 9 of them around here at Buffelshoek Dam. All lying in that shallow end there, exactly where Gert is busy pointing. It's like about 4 or 5 of them. It's not just ducked underwater. I'm sure they're going to pop their heads out very shortly again. Little pied. Oh, there's one. Look at that steam. France, they are very territorial. France, a bull hippo is very territorial. If you find another male, oh, look at that, look at that. Wow, 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 that was beautiful. Perfect timing, like whales. But France, yeah. So if you've got another hippo, another male making his way into this waterhole, you'll find the territorial male here. He will first see what is the plan of that male hippo. If that male hippo is submissive, you'll find maybe the territorial bull will say, okay, no problem, you can come in here, but just behave yourself. Don't try anything, and don't try your luck with my females, and leave my youngsters alone. But if there's a male that comes in here for other ideas, then it can become quite a challenge to the dominant male, and then the fights for the pods and for the dam could become quite vicious. It depends as well on how big these dams are. I feel that there at Chitwa we don't just have one dominant male there. I think we've got maybe like 2, one on the far east and the one on the far western side. If you look at that dam, it's quite a vast dam. But this one, I think it's only space for one male and his pod. We saw that the other day actually, in my last stint here at Buffelshoek Dam, where there was a male that wanted to come into the water, but he was very tentative to get in because the dominant bull kept on showing a lot of aggression, opening his mouth, showing his teeth. And that other male eventually, after a good maybe 15-20 minutes, he decided to turn around and head into an opposite direction, maybe head to another waterhole. I think the sun is just hitting the right direction for just really kind of getting to see that steam, getting to see the water being sprayed out of the nostrils. So makes for a beautiful scenery, this. I always believe, just sit at a dam for a while, just look around, listen to the birds, look at the hippo's behavior. And maybe you see something very peculiar happen around the area, or maybe you see something that you've been looking for. Even the steam is coming off the water. Alright, I think slowly but surely we're not too far from the boundary now, and I think from here we're going to head along the northern boundary. While we head into that area, let's head over to Lorenzo. She's still sitting with those hyenas.
And Tima's also been very entertaining. Okay, not right now, but she keeps popping her head up to be all alert and then just keeps falling asleep mid trying to be alert. She's trying to be the protector, but keeps falling asleep. Not a very good security guard. She's still very full. I don't know if this is from the meal the other day that's still digesting, or if she's topped up. She's probably topped up. But it stinks here so badly. I think it's the anal pasting mixed with wet hyenas, mixed with just being here too long. And that little cub will only come out when mum calls. Once they get to a certain age, they'll come out on their own. But once you sort of, when they're very, very small, they will not come out until they hear mum. Possibly smell mum, but mum will call. It's a very deep, low, and that's when the cub will recognize mum. And mum means milk, and coziness, and warmth, and grooming, and all the lovely things that a cub wants. My last day is on the 10th, and I am aware that I don't know if I'm going to solve the mystery of the Duma clan and where everyone's sitting, and is it still stable? Is Corky at the top? Is Hart trying to take over? I'll do my best. It's just a little bit annoying that the Nkuhumas keep killing buffalo everywhere except Duma. Trisha, remember this is a termite mound. This belongs to the termites, really. It's the termites' architecture. They are the ones that designed the whole thing from start to finish. Then, most likely what happened was either a porcupine or possibly an aardvark. We do get them here. We just don't see them. They come out in the dead of night. And they are the ones that then sort of excavate and dig and make a deep, big burrow. But I just want to show you something on my phone. I'm not sure, will it work, Owen, if I hold it here? Okay, so this is a really nice image, stolen from the internet, of a sort of slice of a termite mound. This is when the termites make it. You can see there's a ventilation shaft right at the top. There are multiple chimneys. There's a fungus comb, nursery galleries, royal cell where the queen sits. And that's just one tiny little slice of a termite mound. They are very intricate and very detailed. And then, of course, comes along the aardvarks and the porcupines, and they are the ones that really start to burrow because they've got the claws. Hyenas don't have the claws, and they'll make deep holes. Then when the hyena cubs go in, they will probably edit it slightly. They may dig a little bit, but they've not got really sharp claws to make much of a difference. So it's going to be pretty intricate in there, but it's not from the hyenas. I think my best guess is that the entrance leads into quite a big living room, quite a big space, and that's about it for the hyenas. Intima doesn't dig, June doesn't dig, they can. If we can just go over to Intima, Owen, you'll get a really good look at one of her paws, her back left. You'll see, looks like a dog. They've got claws, but they're not sharp. They're not kept in protective sheaths like the cats, and they're not purposed for digging. And if you think of the termite mound as very compacted, hard ground, it's not easy to dig. It really needs sharp claws to get into there. Humans, we would need tools. It's solid. So I hope that answered your question. It may not be as elaborate inside as we hope, but it's just a safe space to stash the cubs. But it needs to be able to hold multiple cubs. Right now it is. And most likely the cubs need to be able to stand up and move around. They're not going to stay anywhere that's really claustrophobic and sort of... Junebug's not going to crawl in there where he can't stand up. Baby hyena Intima is so beautiful, stunning. Still got almost perfect ears and not really got too many cuts and scratches and scars just yet. That may happen, of course, but as of yet, that's not the case. She's stunning. I think her mother is stunning too, though. Her mother who is avoiding me for some reason.
Welcome to Africam, your window to Africa's wild spaces. Immerse yourself in the captivating sights and sounds of nature. With our high-definition cameras, you'll feel like you're right there in the heart of the action, where every moment is a surprise waiting to unfold. Join our global community of wildlife enthusiasts as we witness nature's drama unfold in real time.
So we unfortunately could not find the lions. It's starting to warm up, so that means that the likelihood is getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, but that's okay. You know, being out in nature is not just about finding big animals and these iconic predators. It's also about just being able to relax and enjoy your time in the bush. And that's what I especially like. So I don't usually go chasing big sightings. I love to find all sorts of animals, but I also just love being in nature. And that's what WildEarth loves to do, is connect people with nature. So if you'd like to help us out with our mission, please head over to our website and to the donations tab. And then we can keep doing what we do. It's possible that the lions have moved quite far north from where we are now, north and east. There were reports around the fence line. But we did see tracks, which is always nice to see at least. Well, now that our lion mission has sort of come to an end, we're going to start stopping for those things that we passed along the way. So we passed impala and did we pass zebra? Possibly. Definitely giraffe and elephant, because when we feel the movement of predators, especially early in the morning, you can hear them, you can kind of feel it, there's this buzz in the air, then we kind of beeline to that area, because that's the time to get as much information as possible. In fact, you might have heard a lot of the guides talk about that. I recall Cedric talking about it a couple days ago. That morning time, best time to get going. Make your way towards any potential sounds, sightings, smells, whatever it is. And then towards this time, it's almost 8 a.m. Things start to wind down a little bit. So I'm just going to pop my nose in here because there seems to be a vehicle that wants to pass behind us. This is probably the cloudiest I've ever seen Madikwe. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. Sorry about my game drive radio, everybody. Sometimes it switches on its own. Hi, Terry. You reckon you like my style? Oh, thank you. It's a good way to get to know a place. I definitely have a method when I go to a new place, or I want to get to know a new place, especially a place as vast as Madikwe. Every day I go a little bit more and a little bit more and explore, a new road. So today we explored quite a few new roads in search of the lions, but also in an area that we got to know little by little over the last few days. So we are kind of on the opposite end of Tufa Caves, which is that area where we saw the baboons and the bats. It's a really nice way to get your bearings. Lloyd is just going to do his magic and wipe his lens. I love how he just keeps tempting you all. Are you gonna see Lloyd's face? Is it gonna be a good face for a meme? Show us your face! Show us your face! Lloyd just looks at me. Anyway, we're just gonna keep on cruising. I do have a bit of a plan, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll chat to you about it in a moment. So let me send you over to Cedric for now.
Nice, Lloyd. Well played on the cam there. Yes, yes. Well, I am now on the northern boundary. The main thing is always to take a look at these boundaries and just to see if anything hasn't crossed over. Exactly what we did yesterday morning, and to see if nothing has come on to Djuma or something hasn't left Djuma, and just to cancel out, tracking moments, because you don't want to track something that's already crossed out. So far, no luck here on my side. It's been a little bit quiet on the northern boundaries, but we're still moving. We're coming closer towards Baobab Dam, and to see if maybe they said Mel decided to come down again, but we'll see. We'll take it then now. So not much so far for this morning on my side. But I'm still just scanning. I'm going up here very slowly. A lot of hyena tracks going back and forth. Loads of hyenas. It looks like they've been up and down, up and down, up and down this morning. So, why? What have they picked up on? And, well, I just wish we could find out, eh? And that young male Marips, I was thinking he was going to hold this area, but it looks like he went south. Gabby G, oh yes, tracking is very important. If you were watching the other day, of course we had David from Eco Training with us, and we were talking about different aspects of guiding, and one of the key aspects is tracking. And I think tracking is so important, because at the end of the day, you have to make it out as a story. You track it down, and then you find the animal, and then it just becomes the entire story. And so if you know your tracks, if you can do tracking, well, do it. I think it's so important, and I love it. I love tracking. I think it's that moment of when you find that animal, and that moment of success that really kind of is the enjoyment. But yeah, not always is there success to it. Most times there's no success to it, but it's still the excitement behind it. I think it is so nice. You're waiting, can't wait to get around the next corner. Is that animal going to be there that you've been tracking? Yeah, so tracking is very important. So if there's any guides or guides to be, or wannabe guides, then oh, there's a hornbill, a ground hornbill, nogal. I'm not gonna go a little bit. Don't fly. No, sorry, it's just flown off. There was a ground hornbill. Sorry about that. All right. Beautiful ground hornbill, big black bird with that yellow skin that's sitting at the bottom. Well, we're going to head up to Baobab, so we might lose signal, yeah?
Do you sometimes imagine what WildEarth would be like without adverts? A chance to properly immerse yourself in nature without any interruptions. Sign up to be an explorer for a small monthly fee, and you can truly escape into the wilderness. Ad-free viewing is now available on our app as well as on our website. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
I was hoping for a little bit more activity, I must say. We'll give it a little bit longer just in case Ntima wakes up or maybe another hyena comes to visit. But otherwise, it's very much sleepy days at the den. Now, for those of you that have just joined us, we are at a spotted hyena den in Djuma Private Game Reserve, which just sits on the western fringes of the Kruger National Park. My name is Lauren. I do have Owen on camera, and this safari is live and completely interactive. So please do talk to us. How do you do that? Well, you head over to the website wildearth.tv and you register, and as long as you've done that, you can talk to all the naturalists. It's not just me. We have Cedric, who is also on the same property as I, bumbling around, looking at tracks, trying to find some animals on this gorgeous sunny day. We have Trishala in Madikwe, who was hoping to find some lions, but is also just enjoying a beautiful sunny day. We have Liam over in Pridelands, who spent his morning with elephants. I think he's been really lucky that side with elephants. And Ralph is down in the Eastern Cape in Amakala, looking for all the wonderful things that Amakala has to offer. So all round, it's been an incredible morning. Mine is just a slow morning. But sometimes you need those slow mornings. It's not all about action and fast pace. Sometimes you just need to spend a little bit of time. I've had my best sightings out here. Not just with hyenas, with other animals, by just giving time. Spending time. Being patient. I do not know how that is comfortable for Ntima in any way. It looks really uncomfortable, but yet here she is. She hasn't moved in quite some time now. Taking up the bulk of the room. Nikki's spotted hyenas are bigger. They have a lot more muscle. Brown hyenas are quite tall. They've got long legs and they've got a really shaggy coat, which actually makes them look bigger than they actually are. And their sort of height makes them look bigger. But in terms of muscle mass, spotted hyenas absolutely have got more muscles. They're bigger. So yes, they're stronger. And they are said to be more aggressive. Although Ntima here looks like butter would not melt, that is not the case. Spotted hyenas can be really aggressive towards each other and towards other species. So very often, especially in areas like the Sabi Sand, where we are right now, spotted hyenas dominate. I really don't think brown hyenas, not really the right habitat for them, but could survive and thrive here. Rexon did have a brown hyena once. I think it was 2011, or was it 2008? One or the other. And that's just been the sort of one sighting that WildEarth have had. Are you looking to come into the Misikaya?
Yeah, FM, I called, but I'll just do a loop, no problem, Lauren. To know that you're there.
Sorry, we're live. I'll pull out. Just give me 1 minute.
No problem, I'll do a loop. I'll come back in 5, Lauren. Take your time, eh?
Copy, copy. So yes, just to wrap up on that question, definitely stronger, bigger, more powerful, more aggressive. Brown hyenas just can't compete. They don't have social dynamics quite like the spotties either. They are social. They do have a clan, but it's not quite like the spotties. The spotties are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, we definitely need to pull out now, but that doesn't mean we can't come back later on. So we're going to leave the hyena den and send you guys down to Trishala in my favourite game reserve.
This red-crested korhan is sleeping, so it just looks like an egg. It's got its head tucked away on its back. It's just so sweet. we don't often get to see larger birds sleeping. I've never seen a red-crested korhaan sleeping. So I thought I'd show it to you. Just looks like an egg. Oh, when it wakes up, obviously, it'll push its neck back out, do a couple stretches, get ready for the day, but for now that neck is tucked in. You can see it breathing though. You look cold. A red-crested korhaan has a pretty long neck, and it's covered in very short feathers, very fine short feathers. So that means that some heat is lost through that neck. So that makes sense that when they sleep, they pull that in so that it's against the body. And so at least half of the neck, the part that's not exposed, the part that's against the body, is not losing a lot of heat. I think it's also quite comfortable, to be honest, resting your head against your fluffy body. Probably a combination of the two that results in this position while they sleep. Hi, Nina. You think this is quite fascinating? I think so too. I know there's not anything happening per se, but at the same time, it's not something I've seen before, even though I know theoretically this is what these birds do when they sleep. I've not seen it, so I had to share it. And it didn't budge as we drove past. I first noticed it when we drove past, and then I reversed into position. And it didn't budge. Oh, Kelly, you'd like to know if there are any birds that migrate to Africa now. Not as far as I know, Kelly. So the whole point of migrations is to move so that they can follow resources. Resources, temperature, and light. Well, temperature and light are also resources. They're just abiotic, so they're not alive resources. So if you think about it in that way, then there really is no need for an animal to move from where they are, which is if they're in the northern hemisphere and it's summer and things are great and there's an abundance of resources, there's really no reason for them to come down here. So when we see migrations, it's generally happening in spring and summer, because that's the time where in the northern hemisphere it may be cold and resources are less abundant, so they move down here where the resources are a little bit better, or more abundant, I should say, and temperatures are warmer and there is light. So if there's no reason for an animal to migrate, it won't. And migrations are dictated by resource availability. Oh, shall we let this little thing sleep? I don't want to bother it too much because it looks so sweet. Yeah, often get questions about where do these birds sleep at night? What happens to these birds at night? Or, for various species. And now, next time you think about a red-crested korhaan, well, that's how it sleeps, and that's where it sleeps, under a bush in the open. Anyway, let me send you over to Ralph. It seems that he's got some action.
So yes, indeed, we've got two little warties that are having a go at each other. Looks like they're just doing a bit of wrestling, head to head, pushing each other around, and they've been acting all strange, full of energy and jumping about. And I think the warthogs also suffered quite heavily when it was very cold these last few days, because when we were driving around, we hardly saw any, and then we also had a few just sort of coming out of their burrows as we came past, and I think frightened them because they were hunkered down, keeping warm. So I think now they'll be full of energy, sprightly. It's nice and warm this morning, and that's maybe why they're having a little bit of playtime. You can hear a jackal calling off down towards the Bushman's river base, the river line. We've actually come down into the basin because we went to where the cheetah were in that southwestern corner, and they're right in the corner on the fence, and so it's not great for us to view them with the electric wire and everything. So we thought we'd come down into the basin, and we're listening out. The guys are trying to find the lions again. And I'd love to go and see those cubs and how they've grown over the last couple of months. And also going to look for some more elephants. We're thinking this afternoon we might go and look for Pumulela and her new cubs. That would be exciting to see. I haven't seen those new little ones. So it would be very nice to catch up with her as well. But for now, we don't often get to see warthogs this relaxed, so it's nice to spend some time with them. They very often run off before we can put them on the screen. So Yvonne, they sort of use their head in the front, and they've got this, they will fight with their tusks, but it's also sort of the snout in general, and the whole length of the nose. That they've got a very sharp upward jab that they do from the neck, but it lifts the whole head. So they push each other, almost like mini rhinos. They push each other, and then they also sort of flick up with their head. And in so doing, then they could obviously stab each other with the tusks. They'd have to get in underneath the other one. So when I say that, it's quite similar to rhino, where they also need to get in underneath their opposite number and then spike with the horn, obviously. That's how rhino fight. And it's quite similar with warthogs, but on a much smaller scale. And their tusks, obviously, on the side of their mouths as opposed to the rhino on top. But what a wonderful morning it is. You can see the dew glistening in the grass. Just really enjoying it and basking in this lovely warmth. The sandy, yeah, it's not often you see warthogs wrestling like that or having a go at each other. It's lovely to watch. It's, I think, more in play than anything else, because they seem to be part of the same little family unit or group. I think it might have been, or it is 2 young males.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
we have a black-backed jackal. So I said to you last time that I would tell you a bit about our plans, but Ralph had those warthogs that were having a go at each other, which is some amazing action. But part of the plan for me was to find some jackals. And we've come to this little quarry that's quite close to the airstrip. You might have heard of that road before, that area. We just pop in here every now and then just to have a look. And this time, there's a black-backed jackal to say hello. It seems to be drinking from the tiny little puddles. Look how little those puddles are. This is, you know, like we get animals that really care about the quality of water, like elephants. Most of the time, predators really don't care. If it's muddy and full of sediment, it doesn't matter to them. And off you go. Where are you going to go now? Oh, I love their trot. I so enjoy spending time with jackals, something that we don't get to do much at Djuma. Oh, muddy paws, and you're gonna run away now. Oh, it was so cool to spend a little time with you. Oh, thank you. Gonna stick around for a little bit more. Unfortunately, our pole is gonna be in the way there. I can try to reposition, but it's I know how it is with jackals. Usually they want to run as soon as you start following them. But let's try. Yep, and it's already gone. Let's just stop here for a moment. Now a quick scan around. No. Hi Tina, you'd like to know if it's common to find jackals roaming solo. So they are usually found in pairs, but it is quite common to see them roaming solo, as you say, because even though they have bonded pairs, they don't necessarily forage together. So you know, late in the evenings at places like I remember at Kariga and at Amakala, just as the sun is starting to set, we hear jackals calling all over the place. That's when they start to move out together. They still want to be in contact, so they don't necessarily have to forage together. But when they're near a den, then, sorry, let me put my game drive radio off. When they're near a den, you can mostly be sure you're going to see them in pairs. If you're seeing them just as they're about to go out to forage, you're going to see them in pairs. Ah, there we go. It's just down this gap. I can reposition so that we can see clearly. So in this gap straight in front of us, it's lying down. Straight through this left gap. Cool, there we go. So when they're coming together or they're leaving to forage or to hunt, then we usually will see them in pairs. If they're lying down like this, maybe the other individual will come along. But sometimes we see them together, sometimes we don't. But in terms of their relationship and their social structure, they do have bonded pairs. Actually, you know what I'll do, Lloyd? I'll move back like this so we can face a little bit better, so that tree is not in our way. And the jackal is quite far away from us, so it won't, hopefully, I guess, it won't react too strongly to my movements. Let's not put us into the quarry. There might be a slightly better gap here. Let's hope. With all this sticklebush, sweet thorn, umbrella thorn, so many of these really spindly looking trees, we often have branches in the way. But that's a little better. Maybe its partner will come along. I was saying that I really enjoy spending time with jackals, and it's not something that we get to do very often in Djuma, but it is something that we're lucky enough to experience in many of our roaming locations. So here at Madikwe, or Amakala, or when we were at Kariga, it's something that we really get to experience, and I love it. They're fascinating, their calls are fascinating, their behaviors, and then obviously being at the den is just too cute. Well, our jackal has moved off, and so shall we. Just having a bit of a look around. Let's see if there's any others. Okay, well then I'm going to send you over to Liam. He's made his way to a dam, and we're going to keep on moving, see what else we can find.
Thanks very much there, Trish. That is awesome. We are indeed down at Ndlovu Dam. To our surprise, no elephants, but we've got a number of buffalo coming down, and yeah, more and more and more. It looks like a breeding herd because there are cows present here. Yeah, PK and I were very, very surprised that this female just dived into the water when she sort of popped over the bank. As I say, it's probably only 10 or 12 degrees, so certainly not weather hot enough to cool off in the water. I don't know, maybe she was just exceptionally thirsty. Yeah, these buff are coming in numbers now. Must be a small breeding herd. Very, very cool. Again, we know water in Africa means life. All these buff going in, that's awesome. Buffalo are a highly dependent species on water. They have to have access to it every single day, at least once. But if at all possible, they'd like to drink probably 2 or 3 times a day if they can. This Ndlovu Dam has become one of my favorite spots to spend a bit of time on this reserve. Balissa, I hope I'm saying your name correctly there. In some cases, yes, but the water in Africa very often holds crocodiles, and things like lion, leopard, wild dogs, even hyenas tend to be quite nervous around water. We don't see a lot of crocs here on Pridelands for whatever reason. But yeah, predators are not a fan of sort of the unknown. The fear is that a crocodile could be lurking there, and something like a lion diving in after a buffalo might be risking its life. So predators will often chase things like antelope into the water, and then they... Oh, our buff is out of there. I've seen it on plenty of occasions with dogs. Yeah, they're obviously so successful on the hunt. They've got a 90% success rate that antelope know that they've almost got virtually no chance of outrunning the dogs. They'd be better off bolting for the water and taking their chances with the crocs and I've seen a couple of impala killed by hippos and taken by while they're trying to get away from dogs. Well, this has been a nice surprise. Alrighty, I think our signal is dipping. Let's check in now with Cedric.
Thank you, Lee Ham. Yes, I'm still just wandering around here. Still looking on the north western corner of Djuma to see if anything has come through. But amazingly, I got information last night. So with the wild dog, the pack of wild dogs, the Ottawa sand pack, and someone sent a few pictures in of the little pups there on Ottawa, and apparently one of the little pups is almost completely white. Can you believe that? So yeah, I'm gonna go look at that again just to double check on my sources and double check on every single thing before I jump to any conclusion or idea or yeah, I'm gonna just take a look at that. But a pup that is almost completely white from the Ottawa sand pack. Can imagine that. And I was saying, I'm sure if that wild dog pup grows up into a beautiful adult, I'm sure he's going to get a lot of followers. People are going to follow that youngster for quite some time. But yeah, as I said, that's what they say, that's what I saw, but I'll double check on all that. I don't want to say if it is really the case. And a nice name there will be old Basile, but I won't go in that down that road. But yeah, Basile means white. There's a beautiful leopard, a leopardess in the western Sabi Sands, and her name is Basile. Beautiful name for a leopard. So yeah, Basile means light. Opposite to Intima. Intima means dark. Basile means white or light.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
witnessing the beauty and wonder of the African bush, but don't have months available for an extensive learning program? Look no further than EcoTraining's 7 or 14-day EcoQuest course. Designed for those who yearn for a taste of the wild, this immersive program will give you an in-depth understanding of the African bush in as little as 7 days. You'll be guided by expert trainers who will lead you through the various ecosystems of Africa and teach you essential bush skills. Over the course of the program, you'll learn about animal behavior, tracking, and identification, as well as the intricacies of conservation and African cultures. With the guidance of your trainers, you'll have the opportunity to witness wild animals up close and personal in their natural habitats. You'll also have the opportunity to make new friends and create lasting connections with people from all over the world who share your passion for the wild. This course is the perfect way to gain a deep understanding of the African bush, even if you have limited time. Join EcoTraining's 7 or 14-day EcoQuest course. Further your journey as a true bush enthusiast today.
So, just as we had hoped here at Ndlovu Dam, right in the center of the Pridelands Conservancy, BK and I have managed to track down that newly hatched blacksmith lapwing chick. It is tiny. We initially came up and the parent was actually sat on it, but she's moved off to go and feed, leaving this chick to enjoy a bit of sun. How well camouflaged is this little guy? Amazingly, if you look at the tip of his bill, he's got that little white spot on it when he turns his head again. That's actually an egg tooth. Now, that only stays on the bill of a newly hatched bird for maybe 3 or 4 days. So this guy is newborn. That'll be one of the only proper newborn babies we've seen in the last while. But the camouflage of these sort of waterbird chicks always blows my mind. If viewed from above, here's the parent coming in. If viewed from above, that little chick looks perfectly like a stone. And if they sense a predator or something is coming along, they freeze. Ah, check it out. That is so cool. Lovely long legs. He's still quite wobbly. This lapwing family has chosen to breed right on an elephant path here at Pridelands. A testament to how brave these adults can be. And should the ellies make their way kind of towards the little family, the parent into gear, they get really aggressive. They'll fly up at the elephant. And they make formidable parents. That is super cool. I'm actually quite surprised that they're breeding at this time of the year. Alrighty, I think you're losing our feed again. Let's go to Lauren.
We've just bumped into a female waterbuck in the Mowati. Hello, beautiful. What are you doing here? Seems like she's completely on her own. I've never seen a waterbuck here before. It just feels very odd. I think you need to go to Gowrie Dam. Yes, there's a male there. Oh dear, where are the rest of the waterbucks? It is quite rare to see a female on her own. Normally you will find females as part of this sort of girl gang. This is my first female water buck since coming back. Seen the male. There's a gorgeous dominant male that hangs around Gowrie Dam, goes up to quarantine, back again, but not a female. Oh, how lovely. Okay, we are going to get ready to cross the mire. As long as you're fine. Cedric, you know, and get stuck. Okay, we went through a little dip there, but for now, St. Joe rushing themselves.
Well, we are on Texans Road, and we are at the hyena den, that first den on Texans Road. Of course, not being utilized by the hyenas, but being used by another form of a mammal. Yes, we've got a business of dwarf mongoose. That's just enjoying the early morning sun, just like Gert and myself. We are sitting nicely here in the sun, trying to warm up, and exactly what this family of mongoose is doing. All warming up, grooming themselves, all preparing themselves to move out a little bit later and maybe go and forage around for some insects. But for now, I think they're just enjoying the early morning sun on the eastern side of the mound. And I always say it's easy, well, not easy, but if you are stuck in the bush and you need to find direction-wise, north, east, south, west, you come to some of these mounds where the dwarf mongoose have been using, and they usually defecate, as you can see, some of the little drollikies on the eastern side. And you can say, okay, well, because early in the morning when they come out and enjoy the sun, while they're sitting like that, they do their business. And you can say, okay, well, that's the eastern side of the mound. And then you know which side is east. But aren't they so cute? What is a safari without these little mammals? Oh, look. Ellie! And of course, they're sniffing. Look at this. It's just, as you can see, a little bit of greeting there. Maybe they'll help each other. So they also do pretty much allo grooming. So allo grooming is very important to them. So these are the smallest carnivores in southern Africa. You'll find they'll eat all the little insects, grubs, as well as I've seen them going for little skinks and lizards, as well as there was a beautiful clip of a family of dwarf mongoose that attacked a baby scrub hare, and they actually killed the baby scrub hare. So yes, but primarily they are insectivorous. And usually in a family like this you'll find plus minus 30 of them. But they won't stay too long at these mounds. You'll find usually at these mounds they'll stay for 4 or 5 days and then they'll move again to another place close by. So they utilize certain areas, certain mounds in the vicinity as little den sites. There's two on top that's busy playing around. I think, can we get it? Having a little bit of a wrestling match. Look at these two little ones. Keeping them. That one just wants to dig. Maybe they're going to wrestle again, yeah. Isn't that cute? It looks like two youngsters. Yeah, yes, it is quite nice how some of these animals, how close You know how close the bond is between the individuals and how they can cuddle, especially early in the morning when it's nice and cold. But these two are absolutely having an awesome morning. Good old playtime. But yeah, nice how they can actually groom each other, play around with one another, and just keeping those bonds strong. And then one rolled down the hill. I all got a fright there, I think, my laugh. But yeah, in a family like this, of course, it is mainly run by an alpha female and an alpha male. And they will be the two that decides everything for the business. Lots of energy, lots of energy. Spider, yes, it is very cute. Always can just watch him. Can watch them for hours and hours and hours. Quite an interesting animal, isn't it? And while they're playing around like that now, of course they've got loads of predators, from birds of prey, snakes, cats. So they've got quite a few different kinds of predators, enemies. And you always find while they're busy playing like this and when they are sitting around, you'll find one or two of them just keeping an eye out for any danger.
Not everyone gets excited to hear a leopard chuff, spot a pangolin, or see a real impala rut. But if you are wild about the wild, you can become part of a community of like-minded nature lovers and share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Join the Explorers Club and you will also enjoy the many benefits that come with it too. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
I just find oryx so striking. No matter how many times I see them, those perfectly straight horns and a very beautiful coat and facial markings. It's so striking. Look at that face. And the black and white bands on the face. Really stunning animal. My favourite of the lot. It's like he's working his way, just grazing as he goes. But I think being on the side there, he's enjoying the sun. I must think that, because he's in the perfect spot for it. And the birds are really coming alive now. Lovely dawn chorus, isn't it?
We are making our way towards that dam we visited yesterday, Twasa Dam. It's quite close to the airstrip, again mentioning that spot. So we thought we'd pay a quick visit before we head back into the direction of our camp. And then these two hornbills, these yellow-billed hornbills, they just looked so good. And they're being really nice to us because they're quite close. And they're not flying away. Giving themselves a good clean. Now, as this one in front of us, like closest to us, opens its wing to get its armpit there, you can really kind of see the structure of the bones by the wing. Look at that. So you can kind of see or what with us would be the scapula and the shoulder. And that humerus, radius, and ulna further down towards the fingers for us. And you can really imagine how the similar body plan can be seen. You can really imagine how it could have changed to suit the lifestyle of birds. Hi Freddie, you'd like to know what the difference between the hornbill species are? So there's quite a few hornbill species, but I think that you're particularly asking about the red-billed and the yellow-billed hornbill, since they look very similar. Well, the big difference, well, for one, the yellow-billed hornbill is a little larger than the red-billed hornbill, but the most obvious difference is the beak. So the beak of the yellow-billed hornbill is, as the name implies, yellow, but also bigger and more robust compared to the red-billed hornbill. And that means that it gives them a little bit of separation competition-wise. So if they're in the same dung pile together going after little invertebrates, it means that the yellow-billed hornbill can go after slightly bigger ones, while the red-billed hornbill can be a little bit more precise and go after little smaller insects. That little difference in the beak size, which makes far more of a difference than the color, that difference in the size helps them just to separate each other competition-wise, and they're not in direct competition. Now, I have a joke I want to tell you. Are you ready? I heard it yesterday. So obviously you know that birds are direct descendants of dinosaurs. And we'll need a little bit more time to explain that, but they are direct descendants of dinosaurs. In fact, they are dinosaurs because taxonomically, anything that is a direct descendant of something else is that animal, as opposed to sharing an ancestor, sharing a common ancestor. That's different. Direct descendant. So birds are direct descendants of dinosaurs, so they are in fact dinosaurs. So that means that the meteor that hit the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico that caused the mass extinction of the dinosaurs, that rock killed, that was the stone that killed the most birds. You know, because 2 birds, 1 stone, that's like millions of birds, 1 stone. Oh my goodness, Lloyd, you're laughing so loudly I can't even control. This vehicle is just shaking with laughter. What? Quinn? Was that not funny? I thought that was pretty funny, everyone. I mean, when I read it last night, I must have woken up the whole camp with my laughter. Well, the hornbill doesn't seem very impressed. Yeah, because some of your relatives died in that. Yes, it was not sensitive of me. No, very insensitive joke to make in front of a bird. Knew it was going to happen. Anyway, let's make our way towards the little waterhole, Twassa Dam, or Twassa Waterhole rather. Apparently James says that that's the worst joke he's ever.
Sorry, I was quite there with you.
Are we off air?
Hey?
A very, very good morning and welcome to the special broadcast. I have got this big lion trying to approach a group of hyenas who are feeding at the moment. I am Sydney Fumunani Mikosi. I am live from the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park, Sabi Sand. Look at that lion, he's trying to come now. He's running very fast to come and disperse the hyenas at the moment. Look at that. The lion is trying to fight. He's biting the hyena at the moment. This is so sad. Look at that. The lion is catching the hyena. This is so sad. That hyena is badly injured. Look at that. Now the lion is coming back to the kill which was eaten by the hyenas. Not too sure. Maybe these hyenas got this kill from the lions. I am not sure what happened here, but that was something else. The lion came running aggressively and started to attack the hyenas right by their territory.
Back with us, Team Wendy here in Juma. We had to leave the hyena den, as you know. I mean, I have searched a large proportion of the roads in the east, the very eastern slice of the reserve, and not one single cat track. Hyenas, yes, a lot of them, but that's very normal. Not one cat. We saw Kalamba the other day, but she was very close to our southern boundary, which is called Gowrie, Maine, meters away from it. So I have a funny feeling she just crossed out. Or she's just vanished. I've checked a few of her hidey spots, a few of the places that I know she hides in the east, but no luck. We'll get there, and because it's only Cedric and I really most days check in Juma, that's a challenge. We used to have a lot more vehicles, and I remember the days you would say, okay, where are you going? Where do you want me to check? And Rexon would be like, you go there, 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 and you got most areas checked. But with just Cedric and I, although Juma is very small in comparison to Madzikwe, it's so big to drive all the roads in one day. It's still 1,200 hectares. A lot of drainage lines, a lot of 2 tracks. But the more sort of roads you can check every day, the more you can then really be accurate, because you know you checked this road yesterday. You know you checked it, so if there's a track, then it must be fresh. Okay, so I'm gonna keep checking, and we're gonna send you guys back over to Liam with those buffalo.
Superb. So, well, we had a sense that there was a big breeding herd of buffalo around, and that little group we saw drinking 20 or 30 minutes ago was just a taster. The bulk of the herd has just very suddenly arrived in Ndlovu Dam. Unfortunately, we've had some signal issues, so we've missed the majority of them drinking. But there are still a few down at the water, which is lovely. I reckon this is that big group that comes through Pridelands every so often. 100, 150, maybe 200 individuals. Really quite splendid. And there are loads of youngsters in this herd, so maybe it'll bring the lions through in the next couple of days. I'll be gone. This will be my last morning drive with WildEarth for a while. But I believe Chris Erasmus will be back on the show this afternoon. So hopefully he has some joy. There's a tiny little calf in the middle there. Little newborn. Having a bit of trouble in the mud there. You better be careful. Easy to be caught underfoot. Goodness me, it has been a baby morning on Pridelands. Again, buffalo do breed throughout the year, but this will probably be the hardest time of the year for a cow to produce enough milk to sustain a calf. So yeah, certainly challenging, but we wish this mom and calf all the luck. He's tiny. Might even be his first drink of standing water. Mum doing her best to try and dry him off there. And same as that lapwing chick, very, very wobbly on his legs. This calf has arrived in the last day or two for sure. He's tiny. Mini buffalo. I apologize that it is quite dark. We are filming against the sun. That's the very best we can do. Tricia, no, they don't really. They kind of walk a very, very large loop through Pridelands, out to the north into Jejani, and back. But yeah, it's fairly variable. It's based largely on the availability of grass and perhaps even more importantly, water. There's a cow in the water, sorry Bika, that's got a very, very funky looking horn. If you can get her there. Check that out. Looks like it melted in the sun. That's just the way it's grown though. It's quite healthy, quite normal. It's just developed a bit wonky down the side of her face. It's one of the cool things about viewing large herds of buffalo. You're bound to get odd individuals. Also very cool, yellow-billed oxpeckers. The rarer of the two oxpecker species that we do get. Well, that has been a very, very nice finisher to our morning here here on Pridelands and my Pridelands stint. Tom, certainly very, very impressive horns on the buffalo of the Greater Kruger. And we get some enormous bulls and some very, very cool variation. Lots of odd ones. I've seen a couple of them with almost straight horns that point sort of down to the ground. Yeah, lots of variation, and that all comes down to genetics. Cool. Well, as BK and I continue to enjoy our buffalo and perhaps reposition on the herd, let's join Trish, who's doing some birding.
We've made our way to this waterhole, Tuasa waterhole, and here we have a little water thickney. It looks probably just as miserable as the other birds have been looking this morning. Pretty cold, keeping a low profile, staying in one position. You need to wake up. Well, actually, this water thickney doesn't. They're most active in the evenings. That's when you hear them all about. You can see its eyes are quite closed. If you are just jumping on to join us, you are late, but it's fine. We'll forgive you, although I'm not sure I can forgive you because you just missed like the best joke ever told across all of WildEarth. It's fine, I won't repeat it, otherwise James might lose his mind. But if you're jumping on now, thank you for hopping on board. We are in Madikwe Game Reserve. It's Trishala, by the way. And then we've also got Lauren and Cedric out in Djuma. We've got Liam out in Pridelands. And Ralph out in Amakhala. Lots has been happening. We've been spending a lot of time looking at the smaller stuff, which I think is really, really awesome. We did have a few failed attempts at finding some big cats, but that's okay. Remember that we're live and interactive as usual, so you can head over to our website to register and send us questions and comments. For example, if you want to send me a science joke, I would most definitely appreciate that. I just want to show you what the rest of the dam looks like because it's quite a nice spot. Now, it's in this area that yesterday we had those banded mongoose that were kind of scurrying about a little bit further down where it's nice and muddy. Now, in this area, a couple of nights ago, we also had a lot of alarm calls. Baboons alarm calling, that is. And yesterday morning we were kind of looking for a leopard because we saw that drag mark and those tracks, and it's very difficult to find leopards in this area. But it's not too far from here. So based on those assumptions or the information that I've been collecting, I think that there's a leopard, or this area is the territory of a leopard. And so there's a leopard somewhere in this area. It's just a matter of finding it, and that is always the trouble. I'm just going to move us around a little bit. There's a little roundabout here. So I want to have a look over on the other side. Gwen put me on the spot. Gwen is our director, and she's like, oh, I want more jokes. And she was very aggressive about it. Now I don't have any more jokes, so you're going to have to send it to me. All right, let me send you, though, over to Lauren. She's got some dwarf mongoose.
A nice morning if we didn't show you the little ones. Still a predator. but of the smaller variety. The adorable variety. And it's the perfect time in the morning. It is now 9:05, and you can really feel the warmth from the sun. It's winter warmth. There's still that chill in the wind, but they'll be relishing that. But still not quite ready to get going. There's a lot of scanning to be done, looking high and low, making sure there are no other predators lurking. Sunbathing. Animals need vitamin D too. The sun is important for all. Sunbathing in summer at 12 o'clock in the afternoon is not a good idea for anyone, but the sun is still important. Itching, scratching, grooming, yawning, stretching, and then maybe we'll get going. But the interesting thing is there's still so many insects around. I'm actually shocked at the insects we're finding on a daily basis. I've never seen this diversity in winter before. You will still see a few insects hanging around, but not like what we're seeing right now. We're actually getting really lucky with insects, which I suppose for these guys is going to make their winter diet a lot easier. But we're definitely blown away by the cute effect when it comes to these guys. Look at that one sitting right on top, Owen. King of the castle. Kelly, it really has. A little bit worryingly so. We seem to be going through a bit of a false spring. But the temperatures are wrong for spring. Everything's wrong. So it's sort of worrying in that if the insects are hatching and flourishing now, are they going to survive through the rest of the really cold winter? I mean, it was freezing last night and this morning. Are they then going to die off? And does that mean it's going to have an impact on the actual insect population that should flourish in spring into summer? Or are we just starting early and it won't affect those populations? I really don't know, but from what we are seeing with the knobthorns flowering, the rains that we're having, the insect diversity, something is definitely off. And we're sort of terming it a false spring. Actually, is that a knobthorn there, Owen? Just flowering right at about 10 o'clock. Yeah, it is. I mean, look at it. It's not just flowering a little bit. The knobthorns are flowering. Bright yellow, that gorgeous creamy yellow. You can spot it a mile away in amongst the winter vegetation. And they're full of flowers. Now that's a sign of spring. It's a real onset of spring. That's the marker that I love to see to know, you know what, it's spring. Winter's over, seasons changed, everything's changing, and that's always the sort of real sign for me. Shouldn't be now. It shouldn't be August, or it did actually happen at the end of July. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what summer brings this year. Is it going to bring a whole load more of water? Carrie Ann, you are with us. Kind of. As much as you possibly can be. That's why we sort of stop to show you everything, describe everything as best as we can. But these changes, I'm just not sure that they're positive. I don't know, this is just my internal thoughts and feelings, but just a little bit too early for these things to be happening with the temperatures that we're experiencing. It still is winter. So if trees are flowering too early and insects are hatching too early, what does that mean for the real spring? It just feels a bit odd, that's all. But the insect diversity is definitely something that is just lovely to see. The dragonflies, we're not always good at getting them on camera. And that's probably because they're not stopping, they're not slowing down. But the dragonfly diversity, the butterfly diversity is really high. Okay, we're going to head on to Gowrie Dam and see what we can see down that side.
Did you know that the WildEarth team makes weekly behind the safari content? Would you like to get to know the WildEarth family better? See how we live.
This is Igor's bedroom.
Learn about our production process. And see the antics that happen off camera. Sign up to be an explorer and you will get access to all this content and more.
We have some warthogs. But before we get stuck into these warthogs, we'll probably move away quite soon. If we're lucky, maybe not. I've got to give a big thank you to David WildThing for giving us a donation, because he clearly knows we need it if I'm telling jokes like that. David WildThing, thank you very much for your generous donation. And I'm glad I could catalyze that decision for you. You know, as a biologist, asking for donations or, you know, telling jokes to get donations can always be a bit of a hard sell. That one was inspired by James, everybody. That one was inspired by James. I just adjusted it to suit the donations. Thank you very much, David WildThing. Off our warthogs go. Unfortunately, I don't have any warthog-related jokes, but that's okay. I'm sure they're the butt of many, just being in the bush. Let us move just a little bit to get a better view of them. This morning felt very much like we had so much potential going on, you know, so many things we could have followed up on. I mean, when I came past here initially on our way out to look for the lions, I was torn between the Twasa waterhole and moving quicker to get to the lines. It just felt like so much was happening. And a lot of the time it is like that. But you have to make decisions. And also you really, at the end of the day, you really have to take what the bush is going to give you. And I really don't mind spending time with some warthogs. Now, if you notice, they're kind of going to each one of these bushes and digging around. They'll be looking for like nice, juicy bits. So tubers, rhizomes, all those kinds of things. And they use that really nice, hard nose to dig about as well. As we watched, when was it? A few days ago, we were watching a nice warthog do that, exactly that, just shift around the earth. I'll tell them, Rian. Rian, you say, "Hey there, Pumbaa." Rian, I don't think they appreciated that. Didn't get any response from them. Oh, well, I hope that was not in response to you saying, "Hey there, Pumbaa." So chilled. So this particular group is looking nice and brown. They haven't rolled around in the red soil just yet. But we saw some that were looking really, really red. Oh, fantastic. Roshan has sent over a warthog joke. Let's hear it, Roshan. Okay, Gwen just needs to compose herself. Okay, I kind of caught a little bit of that, but let me try. Roshan says, the warthog tells the wizard, "Come on, give me a kiss." The wizard says, "Are you crazy? I'll get Hogwarts." You should want to go to Hogwarts. I'll tell you there's a vehicle coming past. Just when we're having fun and telling each other good jokes. We'll just wait. We're sufficiently off the road, so they should be able to pass us. I hope so. I was telling you yesterday that everyone's still kind of getting used to this whole idea that when we say, we show our L, then it means that we're alive. And I hope that they don't think that I'm just, shouting loser at them. Because that's not what's happening. Not at all. They've decided to go around very thoughtful. So I'll tell you one of my favorite animal-related jokes. If I can merge animals and science, which is so easy, in a joke, happiest ever. But you have heard this one before, but for those of you who haven't, you know what my problem is? It's the delivery. I just psych myself up, and I get too excited, and I start laughing. A snail's shell is about 1/3 of its body weight, which is quite impressive. If you think about a giant African land snail, very impressive. It's about 1/3 of their body weight. And you'd think that if you remove the shell, they'd end up speeding up and getting faster, but instead they just end up being sluggish. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Let's focus on the warthogs again. Oh no! So we're kind of like in a spot that's not the best. So we'll just try to move a little bit. It's kind of at a junction where just there's a whole lot happening. Okay, but we'll try to catch up with these warthogs. If not, we'll move on. See what else we can find.
Stay up to date with the latest happenings at WildEarth. Discover what goes on behind the scenes and get a weekly recap of the best moments on the channel.
He's got it! And he's straight up a tree!
Sign up to be an explorer and receive our newsletter written just for you and sent straight to your inbox every week. WildEarth Explorers, a club for people who are passionate about nature.
Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.
Sighting of a black-collared barbet. In all my career, I've never put one on camera. We just had one. Not the crested punk rocker barbet, but the black-collared barbet. I'm going to let you listen to his call. This is a duet. Isn't it lovely? You can almost feel your feet tapping like you just want to get dancing to that tune. We can hear it, but we can't see it now. But we do have the monitor who's hugging the tree hugger. There's lots of benefits of hugging trees, actually. I mean, you just need to ask Steve, but it's said to be very, very good for you. Can ground you, especially after you've been on a flight or you need to channel your sort of earth element. Hug a tree. Just make sure there are not any insects that can bite you crawling up and down that tree. I love the fact that the monitors are always here. It's a guaranteed sighting, but it's a jolly good one.
Super. Well, still with our large herd of buffalo here up on a ridge top south of Ndlovu Dam on Pridelands. The herd moving through a fairly thick red bush willow thicket. So we're just kind of starting to lose visual of the tail of them. But we have had some really high quality buffalo sightings this morning. What a pleasure it's been. We're not going to be off-roading in there, spooking them and potentially damaging the landy on these red bush willow stumps. We've had more than our fair share. And yeah, what a phenomenal end to my little Pridelands stint. It has been a stunning 6 or 7 odd days. I'm extremely grateful. I must say the absolute highlight for me is that phenomenal pixie pan female leopard, and of course top of the week was that Ezelweni male elephant, who we got 2 magnificent sightings of. I've waited 9 years to be reunited with that specific elephant, so that yeah, it's got to be in my top 5 experiences for the entire year. I'm a very happy man, and I'll be leaving Pridelands today very keen to return again. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, the banter has been good this morning. A couple of those jokes need a bit of work, I think. Some fairly salty humor there. But yeah, absolutely excellent. Okay. Yeah, in about 1 minute we're going to be closing the show for this morning. So from all of our various teams at all of our various locations, every naturalist, every cam-up on the front lines, as well as myself and BK Uhuru here on Pridelands, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope to be back on your screens again sometime soon. Probably not live on Drive, but I'll be doing live at the Waterhole probably in the coming days, so definitely you should check that out. But yeah, thanks a million, enjoy the day, and we hope to have you back on the Sunset Safari, which will be going ahead as per usual a little bit later this afternoon. Enjoy the day and be safe out there.
Good morning, good morning. Well, at least good morning where I am. My name is Stefan Winterboer and I'm going to be hosting this morning's epic Live at the Waterhole show.